Today, I'm going to be predicting every single U.S. Senate election race. Let's get started with the likely red. You may notice the map looks a little bit different than it did in the prior prediction. There are some states that I think have since then have moved from one category to the other. Specifically, we've got all the safe states here laid out, and I think some states have been moved from the safe to the likely column, primarily on the Republican side. We'll get started with those. First of all, I have the state of Louisiana in the likely red column. I do think Republicans will certainly win this, but that's going to be the call there. And then we get to the state of Kansas. Going to put that one into the likely red column. This state actually has a Democratic governor and has occasionally voted blue. Definitely not often, but I do think that the state on the Senate level will vote red in November for the state of Kansas. And then we're going to go over to the state of South Carolina. South Carolina has been in the news a bit lately. Their Republican nominee will no longer be Lindsey Graham since he passed away. But I do think whoever the Republican nominee ends up being, that they are virtually certain to win the race in November for the Senate seat in South Carolina. South Carolina is generally a fairly reliably Republican state, so that will be the call there in the South, in South Carolina. And then I think that we've got a few others in the likely red column. Going to start out with Florida. Going to put that into the likely red column. This state, I think, will most likely vote red. It will be interesting to see if the population, if the voting demographics that helped Trump and Republicans in general considerably with winning Florida will reverse in 2026. I think that it will be a potential impact, but I don't think it'll be enough to move the state of Florida into the Democratic Party's column. So that is why I'm going to put the state of Florida into the likely red column. And then we're going to go now over to the state of Montana. This one I'm going to put into the Republicans' likely column. The state actually had a Democratic senator 2 years ago, Jon Tester. He ultimately ended up losing his re-election bid in 2024. And now the incumbent Republican senator this time around is retiring, so neither party has incumbency advantage, which I do think will benefit Democrats slightly. I could see a potential world where the state could narrow up maybe a little more, but for now I'm going to keep it into the likely red column. And then I think that will be the end of the likely red. Now we have a few likely blue. I'm going to start out with the state of Minnesota. I'm going to put that into the likely blue column. This state also has been in the news quite a bit, especially over the ICE raids and for 6 years earlier the George Floyd protests and everything that's been going on. The state has made it very clear that they are not a fan of Trump or Republicans in general, so that state I think will virtually certainly end up in the Democratic Party's column for the Senate election. And then we're going to head on over to this state, New Hampshire. I'm moving from lean blue to likely blue. I think that the state is virtually certain to elect a Democrat. I think it will be, potentially within a lean margin instead. I'm on the fence if it's going to be lean or likely for the Democrats, but regardless, that's going to be one more seat in the Democratic Party's column, and Democrats will need every seat they can get. Democrats need 6 more of the remaining 9 toss-up swing states to win control of the Senate. And for Republicans, they would only need to win 4 of the remaining 9, so it is going to be an uphill battle for Democrats, but I think we'll have to see what ends up happening. Republicans only need to get to 50 seats because, as you can see here in the VP box, it is red, indicating J.D. Vance is a Republican and the current vice president, and thus the tie-breaking vote on if a vote goes 50-50, so that's going to be the call there. And we're going to now go to the lean red states. Sorry, I think there will really just be the one of those, that being the state of Nebraska. Nebraska, I think, will probably be closer to Democrats, or I guess in this case independents, are predicting. And Dan Osborne is sort of the de facto Democratic candidate. He's running as an independent, and there's currently not a Democratic challenger for the seat there in Nebraska, so that has the potential to reduce vote splitting, which would probably help Dan Osborne. It is still Nebraska at the end of the day, though, a very reliably Republican state, which is why I'm going to keep it in the Republican Party's category. But the fact that Dan Osborne can narrow it up from safe red to lean red is a very impressive feat. You also may notice Montana also has the potential to elect an independent, as you can see here in the purple ratings. Weirdly enough, though, I think Nebraska is far more likely to elect an independent, even though it is generally a more Republican state than Montana is. But that will be the call there in Nebraska. And I think that will be the end of the lean red states. Now we're going to do the lean blue. I'm on the fence about, I think Georgia is probably the one I feel the most confident in calling in the lean blue column. This is going to be a hold for the Democratic Party. Jon Ossoff, the incumbent current Democratic senator, is up for re-election, and he is fairly well liked in a swing state, which is a very impressive feat. You know, obviously, most of the electorate, well, half the electorate likes him, half doesn't. So it will be interesting to see what happens there in Georgia, but I think he has enough. He also has a strong fundraising game, and I think that he'll be able to win re-election in the state of Georgia. Next up, we're going to go to North Carolina. This will actually be the first flip of the prediction of a seat moving from red to blue. The incumbent Republican senator is retiring, the one that currently represents that seat in the state of North Carolina. And Democrats have a great candidate in Roy Cooper. He's a former Democratic governor who, as the name entails, has been able to win the on the statewide level in a state that doesn't always go blue. Generally, North Carolina votes red the majority of the time. But a great Democratic candidate combined with a positive environment for Democrats will probably put a Democrat in the Senate for one of North Carolina's Senate seats there. And then we're going to head up to the state of Maine. I'm going to put that into the lean blue column. The state just elected a new Democratic one for the primary, new Democratic Senate challenger, and I think that he will do well enough to win this by a lean margin. Although I could be wrong, Susan Collins has definitely pulled some upsets before as the underdog in a state that generally votes blue, even with her being a Republican, and she's been able to fend off some high-name notable Democrats, so it could potentially be another repeat of that, but at the moment I think the most likely scenario is that the state goes blue in the lean blue column. And then I think we're going to head now to the state of Michigan. Michigan, I'm on the fence if it will be lean or tilt blue, but I do think it will end up being in the Democratic Party's column. For now, I'm going to go tilt. I do think Republicans' best hope comes with the state of Michigan in terms of the ability to flip a seat. Republicans are primarily just defending their ground this time. It's, in general, a pretty favorable map for the Republican Party, this Senate map. It's generally better for the Republican Party, which is seen up here. The election odds are about 45 to 55, looks like 44-56, specifically with Republican edge. But I think that as far as Michigan goes, that state will end up in the Democratic Party's column. The rest of these states, I think, are going to be by tilt margin. We'll start with the state of Iowa. This one I feel probably the most confident of the Republican states, of the tilt ones at least, that will go red. I think there's a real possibility where the gubernatorial election in Iowa goes blue and the Senate election goes red. That is, at the moment, what I think is the most likely scenario. And I think that Ohio will actually be a flip of that, where the gubernatorial election goes red, while the Senate election goes blue. So a bit of an interesting prediction there. That brings Democrats to 50 seats to Republicans 48. Democrats just need to win either Alaska or Texas, starting with Texas. The state I am on the fence about. I've heard a lot of comments from you guys, especially on the state of Texas, of Tallarico's chances in beating the Ken Paxton, the Republican challenger. And I do think John Cornyn would have been a much better candidate for Republicans to put forward. Ultimately, he didn't win the primary election, though, so Ken Paxton is now the Republican nominee. I think John Cornyn probably could have won this by a lean margin pretty easily, even with a great Democratic candidate like Tallarico in a good year for Democrats. I think Tallarico has a possibility of a chance. Last I checked, the prediction markets had him roughly in the range of like 40% likelihood of winning, so there's certainly a possibility he could pull an upset. But for now, I'm going to keep the state of Texas in the Republican Party's column. Finally, we get to the state of Alaska. I actually feel more confident in Alaska going blue than I do in Ohio going blue. Just didn't quite do them in the right order, so that will be the call there in Alaska. bringing Democrats to 51 seats to Republicans 49, narrowest possible Senate majority, but that will be the call there for the U.S. Senate elections. Always appreciate it when you guys like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.